Hi, Gene Monterastelli here, the editor of tappingqanda.com. The video that you are about to watch is a conversation that was a part of this year's 24 Hours of Tapping. The 24 Hours of Tapping is a fundraiser for the amazing work that is done by the Peaceful Heart Network. The Peaceful Heart Network has brought tapping to migrants, refugees, prisoners, and the underprivileged in over 30 countries all over the world. As you watch this video, if you learned something, if you were touched by it, if you were inspired by it, the easiest way to say thank you is to support the work of the Peaceful Heart Network. To do that, all you need to do is go to 24hoursoftapping.com/support. And as you look in the description and the first comment down below, you will see a direct link to that. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Next up, we have Jamie Lee Silver. Jamie Lee Silver lets her bright, brilliant light shine, and in her work as a sacred guide, leads her clients to new insights and happiness too. Jamie has been a light bringer her whole life, starting as a child and developing her skills through crystals, meditation, a lifelong Buddhist practice, sacred energy training in Sedona, Arizona, one of the most beautiful places on God's green earth, even though it's not very green. Her practice as a certified and accredited EFT practitioner. Please, please, please welcome to our virtual stage, Jamie Lee Silver. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great. You're amazing.
Bet.
You're amazing, Gene. I just first want to thank you so much for what you're doing here. I have watched most of the program, and your sustained energy and sustained concentration skills.
It's smoke mirrors and a lot of coffee, but we're going to get there.
Speaking of magic.
Absolutely.
I'm waiting for a trick. Maybe you'll do one during.
At this point, the hand-eye coordination is not where it is. That would need to be something at the beginning. But if you show up for our video on September 9th when we do that day, absolutely, you're going to see some goodness, because we're going to do some funness there as part of that day. So even if you're not in person, you're going to get a chance to see us do some fun things.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Awesomeness.
And
Excellent.
If you don't mind, I just want to speak for all the people that are watching right now. And if you haven't seen some of the videos for what Peaceful Heart Network is doing, it's truly mind-blowing and phenomenal. And I encourage you to support it.
And what we're going to do is when we transition out of you, we're going to share some more of their work. So we can get some more first-person stories from the folks who are actually getting a chance to experience their work, because it really is miraculous when we get a chance to hear it in those words. It just becomes real in a way that it wouldn't otherwise.
Oh, when I saw them dancing and singing and tapping, it just...
Yeah, so my sister and I were lucky enough to travel with Ulfunganila in Rwanda and Uganda, and literally everywhere we went, we were greeted by singing and dancing the moment we walked in the room, that they were just so happy to just have these people in their presence. I mean, it literally was, more singing, more dancing, more singing, more dancing, and it never got old. So yeah, it's a beautiful experience, and it's, a great opportunity for us to just continue to support our global community in that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, as part of that human experience, as part of us being present in what's going on, there is the things that we love and we attach to, and the things that we lose in that process as well. And so again, like the question that I've been asking everybody at the top of most of these interviews is, this is something that is important to you. Why is this something that's important for you for us to have this conversation today? I'd love to hear that in your words.
I love that question. Thank you. So, as you heard from my introduction, I grew up living a very spiritual life, starting with John Denver and his words, "I love the life around me. I feel a part of everything I see. I love the life within me. A part of everything is here in me." Those words have been like my mantra through my whole life. And knowing that whatever I do, it has ripple effects throughout the world. And the closer I can be connected to that source wisdom of the entire universe, the more difference I can make in the world towards people's happiness. So I developed a daily practice when I was quite young. And then I always felt that since I was such a spiritual being and so in touch with my essence, and I lived a good life, that nothing bad would ever happen to me.
Right. And I'm guessing that's not exactly how it unfolded.
It's not exactly how it unfolded. I had 2 beautiful children. My son, Aaron, at this very moment is presenting at a conference for doctors on the use of handheld ultrasound. That is his specialty and the first new tool given to doctors since the stethoscope. I can save lives on the spot. And then I had my Ben over here, my singer, songwriter, poet, and star runner. And he, by hook or by crook, worked his way into a full ride scholarship at college for running after being the star of his hometown, right? But somehow, once he got to college, it's like his ankle just said, that's it. Your running days are over. And he couldn't run again. And he started breaking down emotionally. So and this is right around the time that the tapping solution and it came into and I started tapping on my own, and it helped me through this hell of watching my son lose his mind to schizophrenia and become terrified. And he finally, 2.5 years later, I say he gained his angel wings of his own accord. And he freed himself from his earthly suffering. And the first thing I did was said, he died of suicide. It was schizophrenia. And I determined that I wasn't going to be ashamed. I wasn't going to hide it, because there are plenty of other people that have similar things, and that I was going to use my life to heal others. Poison into medicine is another Buddhist mantra. And I said, I'm going to use the worst thing that ever happened to me to turn it into, if not the best thing that ever happened to me, living a life of great value for other people. So Ben and I immediately became connected, and I started writing, and he started writing through my hand. And this is our book, Our Forever Ben, where I teach how to do that for people who would want to do that. But after a few years of just drinking a lot of alcohol, after he died, moving to the beach, I decided that wasn't the way I wanted to go. And I no longer, for the past 4 years, I've decided. And then if anybody knows about the program attached to that, it's about getting rid of resentment, like like unearthing your body and going through things. So I thought it would be, and I realized I was standing at the edge of a vortex, that some people just go straight down and bring other people down with them when they suffer great loss. And what a tragedy that was. And so I see my practice as like a hand down into the vortex. It's like, no, there is hope. There is hope. And I'll show you how gentle, how it's very simple. You were just talking in your last interview about using tapping to deal with the things that are present and here and now, and gently solving those things, and in that way creating great growth. So I really appreciate that. So I thought it would be fun to share a few success stories from my
that'd be great.
And then teach you my 3-minute miracle. First of all, I begin every one of my sessions with a meditation. And if you'd like Jean, I can lead you on that short meditation right now. Okay.
Let's do it.
By the way, have you had any water lately?
I have. I'm floating away. My team is taking care of me to make sure that I'm doing this in the proper way.
Yay! Drinking is, of course, water is, of course, part of what we do during tapping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So please put your hands on your chest, or one hand, whatever feels more natural. And take a few nice, healing, deep breaths. And imagine them to be any color that you wish. Your favorite color of the moment. What would that be, Jean?
They feel really turquoise.
Oh, yes. So I want you to breathe turquoise into your heart. Feel it expanding. Feel that turquoise expanding throughout your body. To the top of your head. Down through your feet. Out your fingers. Through all parts of your body. And taking another breath, I want you to breathe into a ball of energy surrounding you in turquoise. And in that beautiful ball of energy, I want you to imagine that you have roots at the bottom of your feet and that they're going into the earth. And finding your favorite root of your favorite tree right there waiting for you. And wrapping your roots with those roots. Drawing forth the energy of the planet, of green, of brown. Feeling grounded in the earth and watching that energy move throughout your body, feeling it throughout your sphere. And from the top of your head, you can move your hands any way you want to now, imagining that this beautiful green tree is part of you and you are part of life. And then come back down into your heart. And see a door before you into your heart. And notice these steps into a room that's beautiful and just as you would want it. And there's someone waiting for you in that room. And greet them and see if they have a message for you. And they may tell you that they're always in your heart and they're always here. And come back out of that room for now. Blessing your being and all your angels. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Move around a little bit. How was that for you?
I was surprised the number of trees I have relationships with. When you said your favorite tree, like literally like all of the places that I have lived in the last 4 decades of my life, different trees showed up. And it wasn't like a clump of trees, like again, like the thought was, oh my gosh, look at all these trees I have relationships with, which is kind of unexpected and fun, especially considering I've been an urban dweller since 1996. The other thing was the just engaging inside. It was just a gentle pat on the head.
Exactly. And let me tell you a few stories, and then we'll do some tapping. But fortunately, when I decided to become a professional in tapping and master tapping, I looked for the best teachers. And I was fortunate enough to encounter Craig and Alina and EFT Tapping Training Institute. So my certification was earned under them, and I've done tapping out of trauma, of course. And the key things that I learned with them were, of course, being in rapport, setting goals, getting to zero, and of trauma. If somebody had an aberration with the traumatic realization, how to bring them right back into the room immediately, and to create a safe environment for them.
Yep.
And what I do in my practice is people come to me with problems, and we find the solution together. So Julie, one of my clients, came to me after a severe car accident, and it had rattled her brain. She did have brain trauma. It had rattled her physical state. She had to wear a weighted vest, which I had never heard of before, all the time. She couldn't think straight. She couldn't type anymore. And she was always in this state of she was in such a state of trauma that she couldn't think straight. And her energy was being sapped every single day. So we started with that goal in mind of having her sleep be better, of having her she would have a 5-minute telephone conversation and have to sleep for 5 hours. It was that she was affected physically that badly. And so her goals were to sleep. Her goals were to be able to function in life. She has a young daughter, to be able to be present for her young daughter and to advance her career. We met earning our certification in grief and death studies at the Center for Loss and Life Transitions in Colorado. And so she started the way I start all of my clients, which is with a book that they use to take notes, and then to start a gratitude journal, to start a gratitude practice for themselves. And what did we tap about? What do you think we started tapping about?
I don't know.
Something yesterday that happened that may be still bothering her.
Yeah.
An interaction with a coworker. It was the tip of the iceberg. We never had to go plumbing the depths of the trauma because we dealt with it right where it met. So we tapped on, even though that person said that thing to me, and we did it in the specific manner, and I feel this tenseness in my chest just thinking about those words that they said to me, and I feel anger, and then we tapped on that till it was gone, and did that for some time. Within, I think it was 3 sessions, she no longer had to wear her weighted vest. And as we stayed together, she started getting her thinking capabilities back. She started sleeping better. She started going through a whole day without having to take a nap, which for her was huge. She started being able to interact with those around her in a different way. And every time we met, it was, what's bothering you right now? What is point of... And the way we got to that sometimes was through silent tapping. Because I think that a lot of people, they have emotions, but they're not quite aware of what those emotions are. And I don't see that necessarily as a detriment. And I'll show you that in a few minutes when we're tapping together. Being aware of having an emotion without even having to name what that is, I think is gentle doorway for people. So she now has her dream house. She's working in the capacity of helping people healing from grief. Yesterday when we were talking, her daughter came on. Her daughter's very happy. She moved to a lake. Her relationship with her husband is great. She solved all the things that she wanted. So I see what I do as centered on solution seeking for what people really need. Shall I go on to another one?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, good. Okay, then having the story of people who have dealt with great loss. A widow came to me. She was 80 years old. Her husband had died a year ago, and she just had no interest in leaving her apartment for anything. She just couldn't bring herself, besides grocery shopping and Weight Watchers, where we met. But she had this dream that seemed insurmountable of going to the local community center and swimming, working out, and meeting people. And where did we start? We started with future tapping with her. And I said, okay, after our meditation, I said, what is your first step that you would take to leaving the house? And she said, deciding where I want to go. And I said, okay, do you feel that anywhere in your body? Think about it right now. Deciding where you want to go. And she said, yeah, I feel this tension here. And we tapped that tension away. What's your next step? Finding my keys. Do you feel any emotional resonance with finding your keys? Yes. My heart's starting to beat faster. Going to the door, going down to the elevator. And we tapped through every step, getting to the car, getting her keys in the car, till a week, well, probably less than a week later, she was calling me from the community center parking lot saying, I'm here, I can do it. It just happened. It's so great. And I tell these stories because I want people to have hope. If you're suffering from some loss, it can be your son moving out. I remember when my son first went to college, it was so hard for me. And one of my other clients, Lori, her son moved to a different state to be with his girlfriend at the time. And she was torn up about it. She felt all kinds of, and both of these clients that I'm talking to you about happen to be nurses. Mm-hmm. And practicing in the field. And she couldn't be happy when she visited her son. She couldn't be happy at home because there was all of these emotions going on about this great loss. So we did something different. We did matrix reimprinting. And I've been trained in matrix reimprinting and also done a course with Kate Marilat, who, works with Carl Dawson on matrix reimprinting, future matrix reimprinting. So what we did with her, and these sessions are fun. They're really enjoyable. What we did with her was I had her imagine her future self exactly where she wanted to be, experiencing the emotions that she wanted to experience. And of course, she went to Arkansas at her son's house and being at peace, watching what was going on and being really happy to be sharing rather than being like so emotionally overwrought that she couldn't even participate. So when we went to her future self, I asked her, how do you feel right this moment, present Lori, looking at that future self, being happy? And of course, all the emotions came to right there. And we just tapped on the sensations in her body and the difference between where she was and where she wanted to be.
Yeah.
And we connected with her future self, and her future self sent her back to a past time of when she was 10 years old. So we traveled back using Matrix to her 10-year-old self, kept separate. So she wasn't feeling her 10-year-old self's and emotions, and tapped on that 10-year-old self. And we did that several times. And I checked in with her this week again, and all of that peace and serenity of being with where she is in Colorado, loving that, he got married, they have a grandchild, and she's able to have a life with that grandchild of gratitude, a life with her son of gratitude, and a life with her husband. And, who could want more than that? That's really what she wanted.
And one of the things that, I really appreciate, and it's come up a number of times over the course of the last 24 hours, is just that gentle incremental approach of the thing that is next. Like when I'm working with a client, the question I ask is, so like, what feels like the leading edge? And just kind of leave them to figure out what that, it's directive, but it's open-ended enough that it could be a thought, it could be a feeling, it could be something in their body, it could be anything, but it's kind of like, what's the front part of this? And just using that as a place. And then we do whatever work that we're going to do. Great. Take a nice big deep breath, turn back into the situation. What's the leading edge? Is it the same thing? Is it something else? Is it like, and just like this, like if you were to and I have a feeling how you're talking, it might look similar for you, but like if you were to map, like if you were to draw a picture of a client session, it looks like this to me. Like it's just like we go forward, we come back when we recheck in, we go, and sometimes we go to the exact same distance, and sometimes we get a little further, but it's just like keep going back to the beginning and just gently moving forward in that particular way.
Perfect. Centered in what's happening now.
That's right. Yeah. And that's the reason why, like, when I think of myself, I call myself a practicalist, is because I'm like, great, what is the practical response? Which is, what is going on right now? What is the leading edge of that thing? Practically, it makes sense. That's the place that we start. I don't have to figure out anything else beyond that. And as we do that, we get feedback, and the system's going to go, yes, you're on the right path. No, go this direction here. But and for me, the other thing I like about that approach is, it feels like the stakes are lower for every single round of tapping. And when the stakes are lower, the expectation is different. The ability to engage with it is different. And it's a gentler process for me to be present to as I'm thinking about those particular things.
It's so beautiful, isn't it? And it's the other person guiding too.
Yeah. And so you said that with that, you wanted to do a little tapping. I would love for us to have an opportunity to do a little of that as well, if you'd like.
Oh, that would be great. So I want everybody that's here, and this is a short tapping, and this is a gift that you can do anytime, at any place. And my clients report back to me how much they love this. It's so simple. So as many of you know, you can choose a point to tap on. You can press rather than tap. You can tap anywhere at any time. And I developed this because after Ben became my angel, I would wake up in anxiety a lot of the time. And I'd lie there in bed just like that. So I developed this process. And lying in bed on my side, it didn't feel right to like start tapping my head. So what?
And I actually find it like physically tap for whatever reason, laying in a bed, like my muscles don't work that way, where it's fine where I'm upright, but I'm laying down. It's just like, no, that doesn't work. Yeah, I totally get it.
It doesn't work. So I press right here on my wrist, because you're lying on your side. Your wrist is like that. It makes sense to just press your wrist. You don't even have to think anything else. And what I would do, and you can do it with me. And right now, everyone just touch your wrist right now. Take a breath and tune in to what you're thinking and feeling. Notice your body. How's your breathing? How are your shoulders? Just notice your body and notice how you're feeling emotionally. Are you tired? Are you frustrated with something? Are you in a hurry and you just need to rush through your life? What is it? You don't even have to name it. And you just say to yourself, even though I feel this way.
Even though I feel this way.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay to feel how I feel.
It's okay to feel how I feel.
Even though I feel this way.
Even though I feel this way.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay to feel the way I feel.
It's okay to feel the way I feel.
And as you're doing this, you might notice sensations in your body, and you might say, even though my body just feels all buzzy and anxious, or whatever it is for you, notice it and say, even though I feel this way.
Even though I feel this way.
It's okay to feel exactly how I feel.
It's okay to feel exactly how I feel.
And it's okay to release it.
And it's okay to release it.
It's okay to feel.
It's okay to feel.
I am just fine.
I am just fine.
And here's where the gratitude comes in. After you do that for as much amount of time as you want, sometimes I call it the 3-minute miracle, because the results of doing that keep going.
Mm-hmm.
They keep going. It doesn't stop when you stop tapping. Much like all of tapping, it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. And then that's the point where I get up and engage with my gratitude journal, meditation, just finding thanks for everything I possibly can. Because when you know this, Jean, and many of you who are listening know this, that being in a state of gratitude supersedes all those lower emotions. Like you can't be in gratitude and be upset at the same time. So first we allow whatever those feelings are and allow them to lift. And then start developing that deep gratitude, so that I have it in my brain all throughout the day. When I walk downstairs, I'm like, thank you, legs. Thank you for my safety. Thank you, heart. Thank you, hands, for being able to do all that. Thank you, sun. Thank you, everything. And my goal with my clients is to help them develop that life state of gratitude. Just like I'm grateful for Ben. It's like he was with me for 22 years, Jean. I didn't have to have those 22 years. Mm-hmm. Could have not had them, but I had them. And I'm grateful. I am sincerely grateful. It's not a cover-up of something else. And I did my crying. I did my mourning, engaging with someone. And I know you know this, Jean. You want to share anything about your gratitude practice? Or I know you have.
So, I mean, so for me, it's, I am just consistently just trying to do exactly as you are, just trying to be grateful for the small things, because it just, I think it's St. Francis who said, all things are seen greater when seen as a gift.
I love
and just
that.
being able, just being in that particular disposition in that particular way. Just makes navigating all of that gentler and easier. And because it just makes it easier for me to engage when I see it that way. Because for me, one of the things I struggle with is this sense of having to earn the thing. And being able to move to a position of recognizing it as gift. You don't earn a gift. A gift is something that is freely given. I earn a paycheck. And so it by necessity changes my relationship to the thing by recognizing it is not transactional. And moving away from a transactional nature makes it significantly easier for me to be present to and engage with it in that particular way.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love
Excellent.
that it's receiving.
Yeah.
True.
And it was something, like simple, trivial version of it. I had to learn how to receive a compliment. It was so bad. Or like that sense of like many of us, because of the way we are culturally raised, it is like receiving feels, again, you didn't earn the thing. Like there's this, this sense of work hard, transactional. And on some level, I appreciate being like, there's a difference between deserving something and being worthy of something. Deserving implies transaction. Worthy means it's my birthright. And so often we mistake the things that we are worthy of, thinking we have to do something to be deserving of them. Yeah. And having a gratitude practice like you're talking about, for me, makes it easier to see things more honestly as they are, not the lens and filter that I am putting over them in the way that I'm interpreting the world.
Oh, so well said.
Yeah.
So well said. And for Louise Hay, of course, is one of the people that introduced me to tapping with that wonderful video of her. And she said it was the most important modality to come along in her lifetime. And she also said that the most important thing in life is loving yourself. And before I discovered tapping, loving myself was a goal. It was a gift. It was something that I read it everywhere. Love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And I was like, I really want to. And tapping and the allowing and the releasing has deepened my love for myself. And I think it can do that for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jamie, thank you very much for sharing your journey and your insight. And I am a sucker for a simple tool. Like I would rather have simple and elegant than complicated and overwrought. Like it just makes all of the things easier when we do it that way.
Absolutely. And may I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you again. Thank you for your heart. Thanking you for putting this out in the world. The number of people who are just going to grow and grow and grow. This week I was watching last year's. It's all still there. Yeah. This is going to grow and grow and grow. And thank you to the Peace Network. What the work they're doing, Peaceful Heart Network. Please donate. And I just also wanted to honor my mother. Today is her birthday. She has been in spirit now for many years, but she helped me get ready today, and she was a colorful,
awesome,
beautiful woman. And also to just say, when
if you found this interview inspiring, I would encourage you to support the Peaceful Heart Network by going to 24hoursoftapping.com/support or clicking the link in the description. And you will see on the screen right now a playlist to all of the interviews from this year's and last year's 24 Hours of Tapping. I hope you enjoyed those as well.